Now, at a time when the world's priority is to combat the global climate crisis, some of the world's largest oil and gas companies continue to rake in record profits, following a year of hiked fossil fuel prices and capitalizing on the sanctions against Russia. But why have these profits triggered an outcry from campaigners and activists? Well, you see, the big oil profits are seen from within the industry as something of a vindication. However, the energy giants are now under immense pressure from shareholders and climate activists to invest in clean energy to achieve the goal of bringing the global temperature down to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Reporting maximum profits, oil and gas giant Shell made a profit of at least $40 billion last year. Chevron, the second largest oil company in the US, posted record earnings of $36.5 billion. And refiner ConocoPhillips doubled its profits to over $18 billion. But after the outbreak of the Ukraine war, the oil demand and supply grew massively, because of which companies at large lost their momentum to invest in green energy, and the entire focus was on making profits. Although the oil and gas industries are now understanding the importance of energy security and are calling for a rapid transition to renewables. Record earnings from the West's largest oil and gas majors have also renewed calls for higher taxes, particularly at a time when surging gas and fuel prices have boosted inflation around the world. Calling the historic revenues disgraceful, fossil fuels campaigners for climate said that much of this money is being made at the expense of the millions of people who have been pushed into poverty because of the skyrocketing cost of gas. To give us more insights on the story, our London correspondent Alex Isaac is joining us live, and Yevhenia Zasachko is joining us live from Kiev. She is the head of climate department at Echo Action, Center for Environmental Initiatives. Welcome to the broadcast, both of you. Alex, I want to start with you first. We keep hearing about this immense pressure on energy giants to invest in clean energy. But these exponential profits that we are looking at right now are all riding on fossil fuels. So I want to ask you, where is the change?
Well, you're absolutely right there. Shell, which had this highest profit that it has seen in the last 115 years. Now, in February 21, they did say that they would go to the Paris Agreement, and they said that they would aim to be net zero by 2050. Now, a lot of their own evidence suggested that they're going to offset some of their emissions by planting trees. But we find that they'd have to plant so many trees that would take the size of Brazil to offset some of those carbon emissions. Now, they did try and look at exploring alternative fossil fuels, but they would need about an extra £10 billion per year if they were going to invest in making those changes throughout their companies. And this is the same for many of those huge organisations that we see. The amount of money that they need to be putting in to make sure that they hit that target by 2050 is huge. But the amount of profits that they're coming, it doesn't seem like that could potentially be a drop in the ocean. And of course, when you're talking about taxes and windfall taxes, there are a lot of people in the UK that really want the government to step up and ensure that companies like this, that we really do need for our gas and electricity, aren't making a profit off the people. They should be looking to do more windfall tax. But again, looking at Shell and their huge profits, they actually only provide 5% of the energy to the UK. So ultimately, the only amount that the government could get from them in windfall tax is about 150 million. When looking at those profits of billions and billions of pounds, that really doesn't seem like enough.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex, for all those insights from London. Now, Yevhenia, I want to come to you now. It is a classic case of one man's loss is another man's gain. 2022 was undoubtedly the most profitable year for oil companies in history. But the difference is that the ones losing here is our planet. So in turn, the entire humankind. How are you assessing this?
Yeah, you're right. As usual, some huge companies earning money, and the whole global like the whole Earth is losing. The climate change is still there. The global greenhouse gas emission is rising. We still didn't reach that maximum from there, like the emission will go down. And unfortunately, Russian invasion in Ukraine only make the situation worse. Is if before there was a consideration that the gas would be, Russian gas in Europe would be like a period for the transition, going to be used as a transition for renewables in the next period. Unfortunately, now the authorities, European authorities, the companies is switching again to fossil fuels. So it's not giving us a chance to actually reach that goals of Paris Agreement that we had. And to reach actually this goal, it means that we need to reduce emission now until the period of 2050 to reach a climate neutrality in 2050, which is not happening, and Russian invasion doesn't help the world too, and companies making just profits.
Exactly. I was just going to come to that. You know, we spoke to some climate experts when the war in Ukraine had just started and Russia tried to hold on to its energy arsenal, what we call, to counter the West. At that point of time, there was a hope that maybe this war will push governments to adopt cleaner energy faster, much faster than what was being predicted before. But it's going to be a year soon and we see no signs of that. I want to ask you, are you hopeful?
I actually also believe that it's a chance, it's our chance global to show what fossil fuels can also bring, not only the climate change, but the war to independent country. And it's not the first war that's been based on fossil fuels. So the reason and how we can stop such wars and conflicts and climate change is to stop the fossil fuel. But yeah, unfortunately, we didn't see that much activities that really would show that the authorities is really ready to reduce emission, ready to change the situation in energy sector, switch from fossil fuels to the renewables. There is some movement as it was before, but they are not so much rapid as we expected.
All right, some very interesting points made there. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast and to bring all your insights.